loves, and thank you for joining me. It's Kirsten, and it has been almost 3 months since I filmed that intro, so if I'm a little bit rusty, I had to take a break. I do apologise for just randomly taking a break, but it was really needed. I was really burnt out and I wasn't looking forward to filming. I didn't have any ideas, I didn't want to be editing, and I just knew I needed to stop. And I'm really pleased I did, because I feel really refreshed, I feel excited to film again, and it just helped me get the perspective again of why I enjoy this so much, why, I love this community, I love being able to chat to you about books, so it was needed. But I do apologise, it was very kind of like sudden, I feel like, but it was needed. And I just want to say a massive thank you for all of your messages, for people that have really stuck with me and supported me through this break. Like, I really, really appreciate it. But I'm so excited to be back. You'll have to let me know what you've been up to. What are you currently reading? At the minute, I'm reading Ballad of Sword and Wine Volume 5. It's a danmei that I have been absolutely loving. For the video, I thought, to get myself back into the swing of things, we would go back to a classic mid-year book freakout tag, and I'm so excited to do it. So we're just going to dive straight in. Some of the questions and stuff, it's kind of what I did last year. It's like I kind of spot pick questions that I want to answer. It's not the full original tag. Let's just get straight into it. The first 3 questions are more to do with like stats. So how many books have I read so far this year? How many books have I hauled? How many have I DNF'd? And the answer to that is I actually don't know. I stopped keeping track while I was on my break. Like, I only keep track of the amount of books I read and bring in and like DNF and stuff because of videos. Like, otherwise I don't keep track of that sort of thing. Because I was on the break, I didn't keep track, so I've got no idea. One thing I can say is that for the books read for this year, I know when I last tracked it, it was around 125, 126 books, which is double, over double at this point last year. So this point last year, I had read about 61 books, and I've done double that, but it is because of the amount of manga that I've been reading. Like, I have been loving manga so much, and it's so quick to read. It's so easy to binge. So yeah, the number is kind of crazy, and that's not even accurate. Like, it is higher than that. So yeah. But it's been really fun. So that's the main thing. Yeah, books hauled, I couldn't tell you. I wasn't keeping track of how many I was buying during my break. I don't think it was loads, but at the same time, I couldn't tell you. And DNFs, I didn't track, but I know it was very low. I think at most I probably DNF'd like 3 books, maybe 4. And a lot of those were just like soft DNFs. I wasn't feeling it. I did a lot of mood reading. It has been amazing. So yeah, DNFs went right down, which I'm really happy with, especially because just before I took the break, the amount of books I was DNFing was honestly wild. It was so high, and since taking the break, just mood reading and everything, it's been lovely to be DNFing so much less. We're going to see if it upholds. The only thing that I was tracking is the amount of books on my physical TBR, which is at 76, and I'm really happy with that because we ended 2025 with 127 books, and we're down to 76. I think that's amazing progress. I am really happy with myself. I mean, a lot of that admittedly was unhauling loads of books. Like, that was the last video that I did before taking my break, and it was a massive unhaul, and my shelves feel so much better for it. But yeah, a lot of that did come out in the unhaul. Still, 51 books progress, that is amazing. But let's get straight into the actual like best books of the year so far and all of those questions. I am going to have 2 answers for everything though, because I want to do one for novels and then one for manga and anime. Starting off with the best book so far this year, and the best novel so far is kind of surprising to me. It's actually Diabound. I'm really surprised by this because I didn't expect to love this one as much as I did, and out of all the books, when I was like sitting down coming up with answers for these, Diabound is one that just kept popping into my mind because it's just a book that, I don't know, I really enjoyed it. I couldn't even tell you exactly what it is. It was just in the moment, it worked really well. I haven't continued on. The second book is out, but I haven't actually read it yet. I definitely want to. But I really enjoyed it. So in this book, we follow a main character who we first meet her like she's fighting in the pits, and she's basically just trying to raise money to survive. She's got her little sister to look after and her mum who isn't able to work, and she's just really struggling with everything. But children are going missing in this town. We have these vampire-like beings who are being blamed for taking these children. One evening, her sister gets taken, and she is devastated by this, so she decides to sign up to the army because the army, they're always fighting against the vampires, so they'll be able to get closer, she can get into their territory and then look for her sister. That's her plan. Unfortunately, the time that she joins up is the time when you have to, it's mandatory, to go through these trials to see if you're going to become bound by a direwolf. And she doesn't want this, she wants nothing to do with it, she just wants to get through the trial, survive, and then go look for her sister. But she ends up being bound to a particular direwolf that nobody has been able to be bound to. Like, this direwolf is very particular, very difficult, and of course our main character gets bound. Now, it is romantasy, so there is a romance involved, and I really loved it. I loved the twists and turns that it took, and while some of it I saw coming, I loved the direction it went anyway, and I really am looking forward to that next book. I mean, lots of people say that this is like Fourth Wing but with direwolves, and I'm very excited to read Fourth Wing. It's a book that my sister loves. I definitely need to give it a try soon. But yeah, Direbound, I really enjoyed it. Look, it's not my favourite book, it's not going to be like a new all-time best book ever, but I did really enjoy it. I really enjoyed the characters. I thought our main character was just somebody that I could really connect to, and yeah, I loved it. I thought it was great. The next one for manga though is Apothecary Diaries, and I'm kind of cheating a little bit because I was reading this one before the start of this year. However, I do genuinely love this. I love Apothecary Diaries so much. I love the anime. I am enjoying the manga so much. I am up to volume 6, I want to say, in the manga, and I'm loving it. I'm doing this thing where I read the manga volume and then I rewatch the anime up to where that manga volume left off, and it's been so much fun to do. I really do enjoy it. I have the light novels which I need to start, which I've been saying before I took the break, and eventually I will do that. That's a priority for this year. But I just love it. I love it so much. If you don't know Apothecary Diaries, we're following Mau Mau, and we meet her as she's been kidnapped and taken into the rear palace. And the rear palace is where the concubines for the emperor stay. And Mau Mau is an apothecary. She hears these rumours of a curse going round that the emperor's children are just all dying and it's a curse. Mau Mau doesn't believe in curses, and she actually works out what is causing this to happen. And she tries leaving a subtle note for the concubines to say what to stop so that the babies don't die. And this ends up getting Mau Mau involved in lots of different little mysteries that happen within the inner core, and it's just so much fun. I really enjoy it, and the story really expands. And we do have Jinji, who is just an amazing character. Like, I love their dynamic between the two of them. They are just so good, and I love seeing the plot develop. It's brilliant. I'm so excited to carry on, and we have the 3rd season of the anime coming out later this year. Like, it's just so good. Love it. Absolutely adore it. Now we're going to move on to best sequel, and for this one I went with Grief of Stones. And this is a book I really enjoyed. I buddy read this one with Leandra in January, and I just really liked it. It's a book where I can say I can't have any complaints to, because the world building is so intricate and the characters are brilliant. I love the mystery plotline. I should say what this is. So The Grief of Stones is the 2nd book in a trilogy that's actually a spin-off to The Goblin Emperor by Catherine Addison. And The Goblin Emperor is like a cozy political fantasy. I really enjoy it. And in this little series, we are following Thara Kalahar. I'm probably mispronouncing, I do apologise, but he is someone that is a witness for the dead, and basically when somebody dies, he can touch the body and see their last moments and investigate what's happened. Was it murder? Was it an accident? And he gets caught up in a lot of different mysteries as a result, and I really like it. You tend to have a couple like mini mysteries going on, and it all ties together. By the end of the book, everything has come together really well, and I just love how intricate this world is. Like, Catherine Addison has thought out everything with this, and I mean, they are one of my favourite authors. I really enjoy their works, and so yeah, this one had to be on there for best sequel. I just think it is brilliant, especially if you do enjoy a good like political fantasy, but we've got mystery elements in this one. It's a little bit darker at times. It's so good. Like, just give it a try. It's so good. Then we have best sequel. It has to be for Danmei, Ballad of Sword and Wine, Volume 2. I love this so much. Okay, so the first book I've read twice. I read it before I took my break, and then I reread it because I wanted to start binging the series. And this is very heavy political, and I can honestly say I probably wouldn't love this series as much if it wasn't for our two characters. And it's this book that really solidified, oh yeah, I love this. So in this one, we follow Shen Zhuxian, which, sorry for pronunciation, but in the first book, he is the sole survivor of the Shen clan. And basically his father betrayed the empire. And as a result, like, all of his family died because of this choice, and so many people died. It was an absolute catastrophe. Shen Zhuxian is blamed for the sins of his father, and he has to be punished for the sins. Even though he had nothing to do with it, he's punished for his father's sins. And then we have Shao Qi, who is somebody that hates Shen Zhuxian with a fiery passion, and in the first book, like, they hate each other, they are enemies. Then it starts changing. It is a political enemies to lovers historical Danmei, and it is very heavy political. It is a book that I have to really be awake for. Like, with me currently reading volume 5, like, it is one that I know if I'm tired, I'm not going to take in stuff. But the way the two interact in this one, their little, like, sarcasm between them, the way they test each other, like, it's so good, and they end up being such a good couple. Like, I love it so much. It is so well done, and they are very much the sort of like, okay, I am going to give you the empire as a token of my love. Like, that's the sort of thing. They are taking down empires to gift to one another. Like, it is insane, and I love it. I love it so much. Each one is very political though, and I find with a lot of, well, I say a lot of, I've read like 3 different Danmei, and I find that you do get a lot of background to other characters. They're like side characters within the story, but you will get dedicated chapters to their backstory and how they're going to impact the story. And it can feel a little bit info dumpy in a way, but it all connects so well together. And yeah, as much as this is really intricate and I've really got to pay attention to it, I do really enjoy it. I mean, I love a political book anyway, and I just think this is really well done. And it was volume 2 that really got me like, yes, I'm loving this. Okay, then we're going to move on to disappointments, which, the first disappointment, so for the novel, I'm actually going to do Wayward Souls. This is a book that I finished yesterday. I was buddy reading it with Danny and Leandra, and honestly, I loved the process of buddy reading it with them, but I can say I was a little bit disappointed with the book overall. So in this one, we are following Sam Harker and Hel Moriarty. So Sam is the daughter of Jonathan and Mina Harker from Dracula, and Hel is the daughter of Professor Moriarty from Sherlock Holmes. So you have a lot of connections to different Gothic classics, and obviously Sherlock Holmes, the mystery classic, and I love that. This book, the characters just didn't feel as well formed as they did in the first book, and it honestly felt kind of childish at times. But one thing I loved is in this book we follow Irish folklore. I should say, actually, so Sam and Hel are part of this society protecting people against monsters. So all of the different things from folklore, from our Gothic horror classics and stuff, they're all real, and we've got this society that is trying to protect people. And Sam and Hel end up teaming up to do their first mission in the first book, and now we have a new mission in the second book. And I just think, while the mission itself, like where it was set in Ireland with all of the folklore and stuff, was absolutely phenomenal. Like, I loved that. I do think towards the end it could have delved deeper, we could have seen a little bit more. It did feel a little bit rushed. It was the character work for me that was really lacking in this one, which is such a shame. So yeah, I don't know. I think I ended up giving it like a 3 to 3.5. To be fair, if I'm being honest with myself, it is just like a 3-star read. It was the first book that I've rated during my break. Like, it was really fun to do, like to kind of dust everything off. But yeah, it was just a bit of a shame. Like, I'm kind of intrigued in the next book. I think it's going to focus more on Moriarty, which is something that I am intrigued by. But I mean, like, it could have been so good, and it just kind of fell flat. So yeah, a bit disappointed in this one. But for a light novel, it's actually Solo Leveling Light Novel 2, which is such a shame because I love the anime and the manhwa of this. So if you don't know what Solo Leveling is, we follow Song Jinwoo and he is known as the weakest hunter of all mankind. So we're set in like this alternate reality where these dungeons open up and you have a week to try and defeat the dungeon boss, otherwise they can break out and wreak havoc. Song Jinwoo is known as the weakest hunter of all mankind until a catastrophic event happens where he dies, well, almost dies, and is basically said, hey, we can save you if you become the player. And Song Jinwoo is like, yeah, sure, save me. And he starts becoming the only person who is able to continuously level up. And it's so good. I love the anime so much. I really enjoyed the manhwa and I was really interested in the light novel. I did struggle with volume 1, but I was like, you know what, I'm going to give volume 2 a try. I don't like it. I don't like the writing style and I also don't like how Song Jinwoo is portrayed. And I know everything is based off of these, but I just think the manhwa and the anime is so much better in terms of his characterization and also the fight scenes. So in this particular novel, there are 2 fight scenes which I really like. So bad. It was so bad. I was like, what do you mean? How can we have these amazing fight scenes and it come from this? Like, it was so bad. So yeah, this was an utter disappointment. Like, I really wanted to read the light novels because I wanted to get a bit more information, especially for some of the things that happens later in the manhwa, to really understand the things that were going on. But I just don't think I can push through with the light novel. Yeah. Moving on to a book that made me cry. Now, I haven't actually had a book that's made me cry. Novel-wise, the only things I've been reading in my break has been like rereads of Sarah J Maas books and then like Wayward Souls. Other than that, I haven't really read any other novels during my break, and prior to that it was like a lot of continuing series and stuff, so I don't really have anything that's made me fully emotional novel-wise. We have emotional, I'm terrified of what's going to happen to these characters in Case File Compendium. So I have read volumes 1 to 8 of Case File Compendium. I absolutely love it. Volume 9 is due out, I think it's either July or August. Like, I need to double check. I am absolutely in love with it, but I'm terrified. I am terrified of where it's left in volume 8, and I don't think we're going to have a happy ending with these books. Like, I am truly terrified. I also don't really recommend these at all. Like, they are the most toxic romance, and it is honestly a bit of a car crash of what is actually happening plot-wise in this. So in this one, we follow Yu, who has psychic Ebola, I don't know why, I always forget it. Considering how many times it is actually mentioned, how important it is to the plot line, I genuinely always forget what the first bit of it was, but it's a mental illness basically. This is a toxic love story between Yu and his doctor that helps him manage his psychic Ebola. It is the most toxic relationship ever. Like, they constantly go back and forth, and the actual plot line of what's going on, we've got this like evil pharmaceutical company, and some of the stuff that is happening, it's absolutely wild. Like, honestly, it really is a mess of a story, but there is something so addictive about it that I love it. I genuinely love it so much. And yeah, I don't recommend this to anyone. Check your trigger warnings on Storygraph. Feel free to give it a try if it sounds interesting, but it's not one I would recommend, but I genuinely love it. I love it so much. It is such a mess. The boys are such a mess. It is red flags everywhere. But I love it. But it does genuinely make me scared. I genuinely think we are going to have an unhappy ending, and I am terrified for what happens. So that's kind of what I put for crying of that, is like, I am internally crying because I'm terrified of what happens. But on a happier note, like happy tears, we've got Sasaki and Miyano. I read volumes 1 to 10 of this and I absolutely adore it. I've also watched the anime. And I just think this is so wholesome. This is one that just gives me so much joy. Like, I really do love this so freaking much. So we follow Sasaki and Miyano, and they both go to the same school, and Miyano loves BL manga, and one day Sasaki comes up to him asking for a manga recommendation, and Miyano's really not sure because he's like, this is kind of like very specific, not many people like this, but here you can try this one. And Sasaki loves it. He really enjoys it, and it strikes up this friendship between the two of them, and Sasaki starts falling in love with Miyano, and it is the most wholesome story. I genuinely love this. This is just such like slice of life loveliness. I would recommend giving the anime a try. They follow together really closely between the manga and the anime. So if you're interested, maybe give that a watch, see if it's something that you want to read, because honestly, these are tiny and they are pricey, but I do love them. I think they're so cute. So happy tears for that one. Which we then move on to books that have made me happy, and I have Relight My Fire. This was also a contender for best sequel, but it's also one where I just really enjoy this series and I have so much fun reading them. So Relight My Fire is the 4th book in the Stranger Times series, and this one is, I mean, you've heard me talk about it for a while if you've been around, but it's one where we follow a newspaper company and they report on all of the weird and unusual things like aliens. But what if they're actually real? And it's really fun. Each one you have a different mystery, and each book is also commenting on different societal things, and it also gets quite emotional. It's brilliant. We follow this wide array of characters, and it's just really fun. It's got really good humor to it, and I genuinely had so much fun with this. This was a 5-star read. It was one of the books I read. I did a video on it where I was doing Rainy's series takedown like bingo board. I'll have it linked below if you're interested, and I had a great week reading loads of sequels. Well, it was 2 weeks, but yeah, I loved it. I loved it so much, and it reminded me of like, I really do enjoy this series and I really need to get back into reading it, but I do the same thing every time where I'm like, I'll read one and I'm like, oh, that was amazing, that was really good fun, and then I just don't continue on for ages, and I'm like, yeah, you know, they were fun, it was all right, and then I actually get around to reading it and I'm like, oh no, this is brilliant, and I don't know why I always do it. I genuinely don't know, but they are really good, fun books, paranormal mysteries. It's just, yeah, I really enjoy it. And then the next one that makes me happy, I've actually got 2 manga. I'm kind of like cheating a little bit, but I really enjoy both of these. So we've got The Duke of Death and His Maid. This is so much fun. I know if I want to be laughing, this is the series I'm going to pick up because it's just so good. We follow the Duke. He has been cursed by a witch so that anything he touches dies. As a result, his family's all left him. He's alone in this mansion pretty much, apart from Alice, his maid. And she is so funny with him. Like, she is genuinely someone that cares for him so much. She's always trying to make sure he stays busy. They're always trying to see if they can find a way to break this curse. And she also loves to be a little bit herthy with him, and it's so silly. Like, genuinely, it is so ridiculous. The first few are definitely very episodic, and then from like the 3rd one we start getting more of a stable plot line going on with it, and it is just so ridiculous, but I really enjoy it. And then we have another one that just genuinely I think is another just really good heartwarming series, which is The Otherworld's Books Depend on the Bean Counter. I've read the first 6 volumes that are out. It's a very slow releasing series. I've also watched the anime, which was really good. But in this one, we follow in Seichiro, who gets transported into this other world. He's trying to save this young girl, and gets teleported into the other world with her. And when he turns up, they're like, well, we weren't actually wanting you. We want her because we need help, because there's this magical miasma where this dark magic starts rising. They need her help to purify it. And he's just kind of dragged along. And they're like, well, it's not really your fault. So I guess we'll just kind of provide for you and you can just kind of chill. And Seichiro is like, no. How about you give me a job? And he is an accountant who becomes an accountant in this world, and it's so much fun. Like, it was actually really good to follow not the main character that's got to like save the world, but instead following an accountant, and I really enjoyed it. We do have a romance going on between the bodyguard and Seichiro, and I just absolutely love it. I think it is so much fun. I really enjoy it, and I'm very much looking forward to continuing. It is wrapped up in 3 light novels, so I could easily read it and finish out the story that way, but I have been saving it, so I love it so much. I think it is really, really good. Then we move on to Most Beautiful Purchase. Now, the novel is kind of like, oh, I kicked everything, I do apologise. But the novel's kind of like it kind of has to be, because I'm pretty sure the only novel that I have purchased this year, which again could be wrong, is King's Rising by C.S. Becat. I don't think I've actually purchased any other novels. I've been really good at doing, well, okay, I've purchased loads of Kindle books, but I've been really good at not going out and purchasing everything from like a physical novel, because I have been trying to get my TBR down. So yeah, so this one is kind of like, well, kind of has to be, because it's like the only one I purchased. Until we get to Danmei and manga, and that's a whole different story. But yeah, I mean, the cover is fine. I do like this series. We will get into it soon. But yeah, that's kind of like it has to be. But the actual one that I think is genuinely the prettiest one that I have purchased is The White Cat's Divine Scratch and Post Volume 1. And I just think it is gorgeous. I love it so much. To be honest, I have purchased so much Danmei and all of them are absolutely beautiful, so it was really hard to choose. But yeah, I do think Danmei and manga are just gorgeous covers. Like, I just think you can get some really, really stunning ones, but this is my favourite that I have purchased so far this year. Haven't read it yet. I do really want to. I think it's going to be a really cute, wholesome read. And I also love how Danmei titles are just so silly in some cases. Like, I have The Disabled Tyrant's Pet Fish that I am really looking forward to reading. Like, you do have some wild titles. But yeah, I think this one is going to be really cute and lovely. Then we're going to move on to new favourite author. So that is, we're going to come back to C.S. Becat. I think C.S. Becat is probably my favourite outside of Danmei and manga. Mainly because, again, I've been doing lots of rereads, I've been doing a lot of continuing series, whereas for this, I binge read this trilogy earlier this year and I did really enjoy it, and I really want to see what C.S. Becat's other work is. I know they've got a young adult series, which I'm really intrigued by. I think it's a duology, and they're definitely an author that I'd be happy to pick up whatever they put out next. So I do think they have the potential to become a favourite author. So really love that. I mean, don't get me wrong, there is a lot of fantasy romance books that I have read, which I really enjoyed, but I have only really read like one out of them. And I try and do it where a favourite author, I have to have read at least 2 of their books to be considered a favourite. So by default, unless it's already an author that I've already thought was a favourite before this year, C.S. Becat is the only one for that. For Danmei, I'm actually going to go with the author of Case File Compendium, because I genuinely love this so much. Like I say, it is so addictive. They've done 2 other series. We've got The Husky and His White Cat and Remnants of Filth. They are 2 series that I'm really excited to read. I actually have The Husky and His White Cat on my shelves, volume 1, to try. I love it. Okay, I'm genuinely so excited, and I think, you know, considering I did binge 8 volumes of this pretty much back to back, I'm gonna say they're definitely a new favourite. So yeah, absolutely love this author. I'm going to butcher pronunciation, so I don't want to. People refer to this author as Meat Bun, because I'm pretty sure their name is something to do with meat buns, like the name that they use. But we don't get like a author gloss, like summary at the back like you tend to do in other books. I have found that in Danmei, I haven't come across that. I love this. I love this author's work so much, and I can't wait to read their other series. New favourite character, which I'm going to go back to the characters from A Ballad of Sword and Wine, because I do genuinely love them. And as I say, it's the character work that makes me want to continue on with this series, because it's very heavy political, so the characters is what carries this story for me. Now, it could be recency bias because I am in the middle of reading it, but definitely these are some of my favourite characters. For manga, there's so many characters that I absolutely love that I couldn't really narrow it down. So now we're down to the last one, which is surprising, and I have a couple. So Diabound is definitely one. Actually, a lot of the fantasy romance that I read is quite surprising because of how much I enjoyed them. So like Bridge Kingdom as well is another one that I really enjoyed. Otherwise, we have Yumi and the Nightmare Painter by Brandon Sanderson. Now, I feel like this one shouldn't have been surprising because I do enjoy Brandon Sanderson's Cosmere work, but I don't know, there was something about this book that I just kept putting off, and I wasn't sure if I was going to love, and I really did enjoy it. We're following this story of the painter and, oh, I can never remember her name. This is so bad. Yumi. Is it literally on the title? Oh, okay, we're going to put that down to my brain is melting from the heat. But yeah, Yumi and the painter, I love this. So they end up in a situation where every time they go to sleep, they wake up in each other's bodies. And I love the world. It's so interesting. We have these different nightmares, and painters are like police where they go around painting the nightmares to stop them wreaking havoc on society. And then we have Yumi, who is a priestess, and it's just so good. Like, it's so interesting. It is a story about finding yourself, about being yourself, and not apologizing for that. And it was just such a wonderful story. I really, really enjoyed it, and it kind of took me by surprise by how much I enjoyed it, which again shouldn't have been surprising, but it really was, and I just thought it was lovely. And then the other one is Honeybee and Lemon Balm. This is one that I read on my Kindle as a manga. When I went to Thailand recently, I downloaded a bunch of manga, and this is my favourite from that. I did also read A Therapy Game, which I did enjoy, but Honeybee and Lemon Balm is the one that surprised me the most, because I downloaded it and I was like, I'm sure it's going to be okay. I don't know if like I'm going to want to continue, but I am intrigued enough to try it. I really enjoyed it. I thought it was so wholesome. We follow a guy that's just got out of prison, another guy that owns a florist. It's so good. We're just seeing them come together, this friendship that's being formed, and it's really lovely, and I really can't wait to see where the story is going to go. So yeah, looking forward to that. It's a new release, so I don't think volume 2 is out yet, but yeah, I really liked it. I thought it was honestly just surprisingly good for how much, like how intrigued I became in the story and how invested I am with these characters straight away. Like, it's such a simple story, but I really enjoyed it. So yeah, so that is that. Now there are a few more questions of like anticipated releases and ones that are coming out second half of the year. Obviously we've got V. Schwab's new book, which I'm very excited about. We've got the new Sarah J. Maas book. I'm pretty sure Leah Bardugo's third Ninth House book is coming out as well. So there's definitely books that I'm looking forward to reading, but it's not something I've actively researched. For ones that are like priority reads on my TBR, obviously I want to finish out Ballad of Sword and Wine. I want to finish out the series of what is, I'm pretty sure how much of this, I think there's a couple more volumes that are getting like translated and published later this year, so I would like to catch up with that. I also really want to start Heaven's Official Blessing. So excited for that. I have the first 2 volumes. I should have brought those down, but I am too lazy. But yeah, Heaven's Official Blessing is one that I'm really excited to start. I have a bunch of manga that I'm really excited to start. So for It Made Me Cry, hang on, let me grab things. As I said, Heaven's Official Blessing is one that I'm really excited to read. So many people have been absolutely loving this series as an anime adaptation, and I think I'm absolutely going to love this one. I think this is the next anime series that I want to tackle. Another series that is really high up on my list is Given. This is one that if I was doing what anime made me cry, Given. I was in just floods of tears. It would, yeah. It was so emotional, and I can't wait to start the manga, but I'm also terrified because of how emotional the anime made me, so it makes me slightly scared for the series, because I do think I'm going to cry at this, but I loved it. It was so good. The anime was brilliant, so yeah, I am very excited to read this one. For other books that I have, I mean, I want to continue my reread of the Sarah J. Maas books, ready for the new one. I binged the first 4 Throne of Glass books, and then I just kind of stopped. We'll see. I'll get back to it slowly, eventually. Bunch of other books that I'm going to be reading, like priority-wise, in July. We've got the new Fronda Lee book, The Last Contract of Isako. Very excited. That is the Discord book club for the month of July, so if you're interested, feel free to take part. We've also got The Grace of Kings by Ken Liu. We're actually going to be doing a buddy read of the whole series over on Discord, so we're doing it bi-monthly, and this is going to be a reread for me, and then I'm continuing out the rest of the series, hoping to have this done by the end of the year. Really excited for this. I think it's going to be amazing. I really enjoyed my first read of this, but again, it's one that's quite heavy political, so I need to do a reread. I first read it September 2023 for the Discord book club, and we're going to finally continue on with the series, so very excited to reread this one. And then we've also, in July, we've got a buddy read going on for The Poet Empress. So there's quite a lot going on in July, so those are priorities. Tomb of Dragons, I'm going to be buddy reading with Leander at some point, so really excited to get to that one, which is the 3rd book in the Witness for the Dead I think it is a trilogy as well, so I think that's going to be finishing it up. There is quite a few. There's definitely books that are on my TBR on my shelves that I would like to get to soon, but yeah, I'm really excited. Always so much I want to read. So you have to let me know, what are some of your anticipated releases? What are some of your priority books that you would like to get to soon? Or choose any of the questions and let me know in the comments below. And just thank you so much for being here, for supporting me, even with the break that I took and everything, and I really appreciate you all so much. Okay, well that is going to be it for this video, which is good timing because police sirens are just starting. So I'm going to leave you in peace. Thank you so much for watching. If you enjoyed this video, then feel free to give it a thumbs up, subscribing, commenting, really helps the channel out. But I will see you in the next video, which hopefully is going to be a reading vlog.